Maybe you're new to disc golf, or like me, you've been playing for a while and you're just new to learning about disc golf and the local disc golf community, and you've seen posts about people being sponsored and about some people calling them local pros, and then you start wondering to yourself, what does it mean to be a local pro versus like a touring pro? And just in general, what is pro? Well, I'll let these guys tell you.
I guess you have to love the game. And want to be good at it, for starters. And put a lot of time and energy into it.
I think just the dedication level really would separate, like, I have a job as well, but every day I come home and I've got my schedule routine where I'll just go throw like an hour's worth of putts, or I definitely will go and do field work, and just that commitment to wanting to up your game, I think makes you a pro.
We'll start with what's a pro. So that's anybody that cashes in a PDGA open division in an event. An amateur could play and not accept cash, so that they don't go into that pro division, but essentially anybody can get it as soon as you cash.
I do agree with that statement somewhat, because it's like, yeah, it's easy to look up a player by their PDGA and just read their classification. He's either a pro or an amateur. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of players that I consider pro locally who have never accepted cash.
There's a step up, I would say, in terms of the higher ends of that open division in the local area, and that's where you'll find someone like myself or the local pro, you can call them, and they may or may not have a sponsorship deal, but they are more than likely playing pretty good and setting course records in the area.
I mean, it's not how many tournaments you play a year. To me, it's not about how much sponsorships you have, because you can be a pro and not be sponsored.
No, I have no sponsors.
I mean, sponsorships come for anybody depending on what they put into the sport. They could be a TD, they could be a disc vendor. If you're really just into the community and you love the discs, whatever the game, that almost makes you a pro.
But I think to become a top level pro, you would want to go down to the US, where there's a lot more better players, just for the better competition, and maybe you might make a little more money. But that being said, there are some bigger tournaments around here, more and more each year, like the BC Open, which is an A tier. So it's cool to have an A tier close to home now.
Yes, you have to go out there and compete, put yourself out there. Touring in the States definitely will give you a better edge on your game, and I would consider like elevating you up to a pro level.
The highest echelon of people, way up, is the touring pro, and those people are on tour full-time. That's their full-time job. They invest a lot of time and energy into playing tournaments and their game, and so those people that perform well get the higher contracts, or like the higher tier contracts with their disc manufacturers.
Not everyone has to have like the best skill, and I would still consider them pro. I guess there is a certain validation when you have a company that wants to stand behind you and wants to put you on a team.
That being Thought Space Athletics. For me,
with some companies like Ace Runners, they're so cool. I don't think they need any help from me as a player to go and promote their product. I think it's more of they just want to reward the people that they see doing good in the community, that really highlight what hard work and dedication, and they just want to give back to those players. That's how I look at my sponsorship with them. It's kind of more they just want to help me out as a player.
Local pro kind of community-based entry-level contract, I'd call it. And that includes a number of benefits to be associated with the company and to throw some of the plastic.
Say Ace Runners and Castaplast, they have a, let's see if I have it right here. So Castaplast, they made this team stamp disc, and it has all the team members from all of the countries in the world. So any sales that come from this, they will put into a fund for our team. Anyone on the team can apply to get some of that money to go and help themselves on tours, which is really, really cool.
Number one for me, ThoughtSpace is going to be designing a custom stamp for my own tournament or my own fundraising efforts. So at some point, this year going to receive an allotment of those discs and be able to sell those and make some money off of that.
They've helped me, I think, one year with their customers said, hey, we want to pay for Kristy's PDGA this year. If we have so many people go and buy a Castaplast disc, we'll put that money towards her PDGA fund. And that was really cool to pay for my membership for the year. And that's kind of how my sponsorship started with Ace Runners, is they just wanted to help me out a little bit. And then as the years grew on, they were like, hey, why don't we give you a good discount on our stuff? My contract with Castaplast has been modified over the years. I think when I first started with Castaplast, I was obligated to throw like 5 molds of theirs in my bag. So I'd always keep about 5 at all times, maybe more.
I'm not restricted to ThoughtSpace's discs only because they only have a handful. So we've got a mid-range and 2 drivers right now, and there are a couple more coming out in the future, but as of right now, that wouldn't really, make sense to make somebody just throw those, because I need a putter and some other tools too. So open bag, I can put anything in here. It's encouraged that I put in and use like ThoughtSpace stamped discs.
As the years have gone on, their line has been growing quite a bit, so they expect us to maybe start cutting out some other manufacturers, which is totally fair and totally doable. So now, this year, I think I'm allowed to have 3 other molds in my bag that are non-Castaplast, whereas when I first started, it was like, you have to bag 3 or whatever.
Like my main putters are Discmania Lynx, and I've got like a Cloudbreaker 2 here that ThoughtSpace did the design on, so that kind of stuff's encouraged. In terms of that, I get an allotment of discs and some swag and some sweaters and stuff, and so that's a benefit too, that I'm provided with a certain amount of plastic and clothing for the year.
Sponsors are always going to want me to talk positively about all of their discs online. So if I ever go out and play a game and I video myself, I'm going to just throw a little hashtag Castaplast or hashtag Team Rico underneath.
When I play tournaments, I'll be wearing my provided clothing, like team gear. I am actually throwing and bagging the discs that are provided by the company. I need to attend award ceremonies, whether I lose or if I win. There's usually some kind of like top 3 people go up, so it's always good to be like in a podium kind of top 3, so you get more visibility at the award ceremony, and you're there and you're chatting with people. So I think that's a big one. 4 social media posts a month, and that's really the extent of it.
They like the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not on all of those, and they're pretty forgiving. They understand. I mean, they're not paying me thousands of dollars to quit my job and be full-time media.
And keep a decent reputation is kind of what's expected, and that's talk about your sponsor when you can. Like, do these kind of interviews, I think, is a big part of that, and like spreading the word that way.
As a local pro, the biggest support that I get, it's not from Ace Runners or Castaplast, it's from all my friends on the island, from SIDGS, from the BCDSS, all the community. They're the ones that really like support me. Whenever I go away, like to England or to Vegas, I have my friends will slip me $100 or $20 and just say, here's a drink on me, or, you know, go kick some butt. Like, that's the coolest. That's the biggest support that I've ever gotten, and I appreciate that more than anything. Yeah, just having the support of my friends is awesome. And then to have companies like Ace Runners, Castaplast say, hey, we recognize you for what you're doing in Canada, and that, yeah, your commitment level is higher than your average player, and we love what you're doing.
As you can see, there's kind of two different ways to look at the term pro. On one hand, there's the technical definition of a pro, and that's if you've cashed out at a Professional Disc Golf Association sanctioned event, you're a pro. Plain and simple. You get the classification professional. On the other hand, in the local disc golf community, it can be used as a term of respect for someone who's been either giving back or just has the skills but simply hasn't gone pro. And that's kind of where the term local pro comes in. When it comes to sponsorship goes from many different levels, from just having a discount code from a dealer to being fully sponsored by a manufacturer and having all of your expenses paid and all of your discs given to you. That being said, the local pro usually doesn't have that high end of a contract, and they will really need support from their local community, like you. If you want to help our local pros, simply follow their social medias and give them support whenever you can. There are links in the description below. You can also share this video and get people more aware that there's local pros here that are doing great things and great golfers, and they could use the support of the local community. So share this video and get their names out there. If you like the content I've been bringing you, then I could use your help as well. If you want to just simply give me a thumbs up and write in the comments what you'd like to see in future videos, that would help me out a lot. I also have extended interviews with Kristy and Andrew and Forrest coming out soon, so make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss those. And I'll see you out there.